Hey everyone, it's been a year. I think it's about time that I actually assemble that Tama Imperialstar kit. What do you say? Want to come along for the ride? Let's go. Okay, so we're going to start with what is the most confusing piece of hardware for beginners out there that comes in this kit. And that is the HiHat stand. It is packed in such a way that unless you've had one before or someone showed you how to set it up, you probably won't know how because the instructions don't show this part. So we're going to start the assembly of this by hooking the pedal up to the base, which requires you to squeeze this and get these bad boys in those holes. And now the pedal's in place. You then extend the legs. I'm just going to do it enough to get it down here for demonstration purposes. And you think, hey, you're set up, right? You put the cymbal on right here. It's actually called the hi-hat, y'all. And go to town, right? Not right. Because this is actually upside down. You have to take this out of the hi-hat cymbal base. Take this bad boy, flip her over, and screw it into the shaft that's in the middle of the lower piece. And now it can move. You then take this part, slide it over the top. It comes through, find you a spot to set it, and there you go. That's the basic assembly of this unit. This has to be flipped over, screwed in, and then you put this on top. So it's pretty simple once you've done it once, and hopefully this helps a lot of you out there that are going, I don't know how to do this, man. The other good thing is it has a little feature. As you can see, this, like most hi-hat stands, not all, but most of them, have this little angle thing here. So you can put a little angle in your dangle. But if you like to have the hi-hats at a slight angle to you, this is how you do it. Little set screw comes up, then you roll that, you hold it down here, you roll that down and lock it into place, and now it'll be sitting at a slight angle. The other piece of this that seems to give people problems is the clutch. But it's pretty simple. You unscrew the bottom piece. Ta-da! And you pull one of these felt pads off. And now you put your hi-hat top facing up, obviously, or facing the top of the clutch here, into this. So these are the hi-hats, top and bottom. The bottom's a little thicker, a little heavier than the top. It actually says on it, hi-hat, bottom, hi-hat, top. Pretty easy. Stick the bottom one on first, and then you put the top one on. No, you don't. Hold it, you're forgetting something. What are we forgetting here? The clutch. This is what lets this thing go up and down on this rod. So you take the clutch, insert it from the top with a tightening agent on the top, obviously, because if you put it in here, it wouldn't be able to get to it, right? So you put that sucker there, flip her over, put a felt there, and put the lock screw, or just this screw, I don't know what you call it. Set there and set it up. Set her on top. If you're playing heavy metal, that's what you want. If you're playing disco or pop, and this is where it gets fun, that's what you want. And that, folks, is how you set up the hi-hat stand. Now what we have here is a standard straight cymbal stand. Comes with the locking mechanism, which Tama has these cool pinch in, pull off instead of the old wing nuts, and 2 felts. So this kit comes with the hi-hats, a 16-inch crash, and a 20-inch ride. Now you can put either one on these stands. You got two additional stands, obviously. You got this one that's a straight stand, then you got a boom stand. We'll see that in a minute. This one I'm going to put the crash on. So here is the Meinl HCS 16-inch crash. These are very bright sounding-wise cymbals. And that's how you put that thing on. Felt down, you hold this in, you press it down, and boom. If you want a little tighter, you can tighten it down a little bit, but it's going to pop because this thing can't hold the torque. Got my 7A here. We'll talk about the sticks later. Rings for a long time. This is a pretty self-explanatory. It's only got 4 of these turn locks, and it's pretty obvious. You undo one, it goes up. So I'm not going to spend any more time on this. Let's get to the boom stand. This is the boom stand. It's a little bit different than the straight stand because it has a different top head on it. You turn it, I'll turn it to the side here so you can see it. It can change the angle of whatever's connected to it. In this case, the boom. I'll turn it to the side here. I'll turn here so you guys can see what's going on. You slide this in, and I'm going to stick this thing. The boom itself is knurled in 5 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4 easy to figure out adjustment points because there's no knurling there. Going to use that as a gauge. And I try to get this one about where it's where I like to have it. Your mileage may vary. About right there, and turn it. And there you go. The boom stand is ready. Almost. And you got to make sure it's 90-degree angle to here and all that. And this usually accommodates my ride cymbal. So I'm going to lock her in that position. And of course this also has adjustments. You can go and angle the cymbal any way you want. It also comes with 2 felts and that cool Tama lock. There's a Star Trek joke there somewhere, but I'm not going there. So this is the Meinl HCS 20-inch ride cymbal. Why do they call it the ride? It's so thick and heavy you can bounce your stick off of it and make a nice little ting-ta-ting-ting-ting sound and it not be overtly crashy. So you put, again, one of the felts down, put the cymbal on it, the other felt, and the locker. And wow, that thing sticks out, don't it? And when you move it, it's really heavy towards this cymbal. So check this out. Okay, that's enough. So that's the boom stand and the 20-inch Meinl HCS ride. So new folks might be a little confused by this next article of hardware as well. It's the snare stand. This is how it's packed in the box. Even I was going, huh? Then some really old memories from high school came back and went, oh, I remember how to do this. It's pretty simple. This nut allows this to open and extend. Now it's looking more like a stand, ain't it? And of course you got this nut holding the legs in. But set those bad boys out. And then spin that down. Open up the claw. And that's your snare stand. It can extend up through this one here, and you can angle it with this. These actually, when you set your snare in it, can be pushed up to lock into the retaining ring of that snare and held in place with that bad boy. And that's how you keep your snare from jumping off when you bang it real hard. And that's a snare stand. And all of this hardware you're going to see is Tama StageMaster series hardware. Except for that. This is the Iron Cobra. Features of this Iron Cobra 200 pedal. It is solid aluminum, and I do mean solid. This stuff is heavy, even for aluminum. You've got the kick drum clamp here. This clips into the outer ring of the kick drum. You got a spring here that has an adjuster here. You can adjust this so that the beater can come back or go forward a little bit on the cross post. Then you've got the adjuster here that allows this to go up and down and turn around so you can have either a felt or a plastic beater. And that, folks, is the Iron Cobra 200. And now for the last of the hardware. The tom rack. Please don't leave any comments about what a nice rack she's got. Come on. Boobies. This is a ball and socket setup. So it rotates around. Both of them do this. They also have these nice locks to hold the drum high or low on them. And you got another lock down here that can set this thing either high or low into the kick. Now, this being in the kick's not going to affect the sound of the kick at all, so don't go crazy. But this is the last piece of the hardware. And now we can move on to what you really came to see. What we got here is a big kick drum. Now, of course, when you open the box, this is not assembled. You have to actually put the resonator and batter heads on, put the rings on, screw them all down. I'm not going to do that in this video, because, well, I've got to replace this stuff anyways, so you'll see that in a future video. But I didn't forget two pieces of hardware. Of course, it's the feet that go. It's the feet that go in the drum here. This piece here. This has the little spikes that hold it into place when you don't want it to move. One thing that this does not come with is a pillow for the kick drum. Now you can use just about anything in here. Heck, I've got an old pair of sweatpants in here and it works just fine. So as long as it touches the resonant head and the batter head, gets rid of some of that ringy stuff. That's all you're really looking for from whatever you got dampening your kick. So let's move on to the next one, shall we? So this is the 16-inch floor tom. Like the kick drum, it comes in the boxes unassembled. You have to put the resonant and batter heads on, as well as the retaining rings. So you actually get to tune your drums day one out of the box, which is a good thing. Now, also, you've got the legs, but I didn't include those because they're self-explanatory. So this is the snare. It's 14 by 6.5. Has a clear resonant head and a coated batter head. And as you can see, this one here has been beat to hell. Again, we'll show changing and tuning in a future video. But this comes assembled. All you gotta do is tune a little bit and you're off to the races. The Dynamic Duo. This is the 12-inch tom. Again, clear batter, clear resonant. And the 10-inch tom, clear batter, clear resonant. All of the heads that come in this kit are single ply clear, with the exception of the kick drum resonant and the snare batter. They're pretty good. They're kind of ringy, but that's why we have a huge selection of heads. So in a future video, when we reskin the drums, we'll be doing a tom shootout with the stock Tama heads, Remo Ambassador heads, and Aquarian Studio X heads. That should be interesting. And I do have an interesting way we're going to record this too. So stick around for that. Well, folks, next time you see these drums, we'll be doing the setup video and getting some playtime in on them. So come back for that. We'll see you around. You guys have a great one. Mahalo, y'all.